Everyone to our council meeting for Tuesday, November 18th. See, we have a couple of our members online, and I'm going to go to Mayor Thornrush to start us off this evening.
You're on mute.
I'm not used to the live streaming. Thank you, Councillor Restoul. Just as we start, I have asked our Deputy Mayor, Councillor Restoul, to chair the meeting and the general government portion for me, since I'm not available in person. But before we begin, I just wanted to give a quick welcome to our new CAO, Mr. Mike Pilon, on behalf of council and all of our staff, to his first council meeting. Mr. Pilon, we're really happy to have you with us, and I know we all look forward to working together. So welcome. And with that, I will pass it back to Councillor Restoul. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, so we will open with our land acknowledgement, and although she's not here, the mayor has directed me to deliver that for us this evening. So as we meet today, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the importance of the land on which we are gathered. Municipality of West Nipissing respectfully acknowledges that we are located on the homelands of the Anishinaabe peoples, on the traditional territory of the Nipissing, Temagami, and Okies First Nations, covered by the Robinson Huron Treaty. Honor and recognize their historical connection to the land and value their significant contributions in shaping and strengthening our communities. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility towards reconciliation and to improving our understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. Next on the agenda, we have the addendum in the agenda.
It is moved by Councillor Ferrin and seconded by Councillor St. Louis. Be it resolved that the addendum for the Council and Committee of the whole meeting held on November the 18th, 2025 be adopted as presented.
All those in favor? Carried.
It is moved by Councillor Ferrin and seconded by Councillor St. Louis. Be it resolved that the agenda for Council and Committee of the whole meeting held on November the 18th, 2025 be adopted as presented.
All those in favor? It's carried. And I will excuse myself. I did overlook the declaration of pecuniary interest. So I'm looking around the room, see if there are any declarations made. If not at this time, if anything does come up during the course of the agenda, please feel free to acknowledge that declaration. Our next agenda item that we have is under delegations and petitions, and we do have one delegation this evening, and that is from the West Nipissing General Hospital. And I invite Dawn Morissette to the podium to provide the information. I know Dawn also has some support with as well.
You're
welcome.
Thank you, Your Worship, and members of council. Very, very grateful for the time here tonight. I am supported here tonight by Maxine, who is our Executive Director of Family Health Team, and Joe, who is the Executive Director of the Community Health Center, and they manage the bulk of the primary care in our area. We've also had conversations with for Univi that is on the very edge of our area, but certainly within the catchment of the house area of the hospital. So why are we here tonight? West Nipissing Recruitment and Retention Committee had been in force for some time and then sort of dormant for a little while. And we are really living something right now that you may or may not be aware of in our community that required us to get together, revise the terms of reference of the West Nipissing Recruitment and Retention Committee, and come up with a format that would allow us to be very nimble and to work towards some real recruitment and retention efforts. And why involve council? Well, here's the thing. The province, through the Ministry of Health, pays the physicians their salaries. They are not employees of the hospital, nor are they employees of the family health team. They are, in fact, employees of the community health center. By and large, other than in community health settings, they are consultants only. So very much like small businesses, we need to attract them to come to our community. And many municipalities across Ontario consider this an economic development exercise, because the first question that a business moving to our community or an individual moving to our community will ask is, can I get a doctor? Is there an emergency department? And those are the things that form the basis, along with fire protection, ambulance, that are requirements for sustainable community long-term. So that's why I'm here before you tonight, to bring you up to speed on our situation, what we're doing, what we're planning to do about it, and ask for your help and yours. Somebody's got the controls here. Oh, thank you. So as we talked about, we reconvened and we refreshed. And what we did is we kept the very large recruitment and retention committee, because we really believe on being accountable and transparent to the community as a whole, but also recognizing that it's hard to get together and make decisions and plan with such a large group. And so we created a working group that would include the family health team, the community health center representative, staff representative of the hospital, that would be myself, and hopefully staff representative of the municipality in the future. We're kind of waiting for you to get to work. Something sad that we need to share with you is that we did in fact have our first emergency department closure on October 18th. It was mitigated by an hour and a half. The person that does all of this mitigating scheduling is Danica Quentin. Danica is our physician recruiter. She is our medical affairs coordinator. She also helps with coordination of students and learners in our community. Bref, if it has anything to do with physicians, then Danica is our point person on staff. We're living within 48 hours of closure multiple times a week. We are living within 24 hours of closure, same, multiple times a week. We are living within, 3 days of closure, multiple times a week as well. And it has happened less than 12 hours of closure multiple times a month. So if you can imagine all the scrambling that goes on. I know that there are certain staff members here tonight that are actually on that distribution list. I know that Mayor Rochon is as well. And the sheer volume of work and panic and despair that goes into trying to keep RED open is something that we try not to share with everyone to cause too much panic. But I think that folks here tonight, and of course those that are following with us, need to be aware that it is a constant concern for our community. We need more physicians that are dedicated to working here. Next slide, please. We have 3 family physicians that we know for a fact are over the age of 65, some of which have made rumblings of retirement. Hard to understand why. Maybe understand, maybe they'd like to enjoy those golden years. We have 2 emergency department physicians that are over the age of 65 in our core group. We rely heavily on locums for the emergency department, and on the family medicine side, we know that locums are always welcome because there's something in the water here in West Nipissing, because we have a heck of a lot of maternity leaves. So wonderful. However, there is always some turnover and always a need for locums. So what would we need to be ideal? 5 family physicians in the community to cover for some of those locums, upcoming leaves, as well as permanent positions. 6 emergency department physicians that could, in fact, 6 to 7 that could commit to 24 hours per week. 2 hospitalists. We do have some hospitalists, but we know that folks would prefer to have a part-time schedule in a hospitalist, not full-time. We need locums, and did I mention we still need locums? Locums is a Greek word, locum tenens, Latin word. One of the greats. It's a Latin word that means a replacement physician, essentially. So it is vacation replacement, or in our case, just filling. Next slide, please. So I am new to the community, new to West Nipissing General Hospital. I started in February, and since that time we have dove right back into doing the things that we need to do to have a presence with our physicians and with the recruitment. We've started back with making sure that we're doing the small personal touches. We have been attending recruitment fairs. We have been working with the different programs in the province, and we will continue to attend. We have increased the number of learners in our community. We now get 3 students that come full-time for their 3rd year of medical school through Nov-18. We also, and as you get more, accept more medical students, which are a lot of work for our local physicians, you also get access to more residents who are sometimes more helpful to our local family physicians. So it's a good cycle, because where you train is, if the experience is excellent, is often where you will choose to work. So in order for that to happen, it just doesn't drop out of the sky. We have to be on it, and we have to make sure that that experience is excellent. And we also have to make sure that we keep in touch and ensure that we have built a really strong relationship with those students so that they choose us for the long term. So we've increased our social media presence. We are increasing our advertising. We have 4 recruits that are in the pipeline. We have one of which you've heard from when Mr. Gabsho from our group came to you at the last council meeting. And then we have currently 9 learners in the community. So 3 3rd-year students from Nov-18 University, 1 that is also a 3rd year, but in a placement, not a clerkship. Clerkship is all year, placement is weeks or months. Another one that's in 4th year that's doing a placement, and then the PGs are the postgraduates, and those are the residents. So we have 1 that 1st year resident and 2 2nd-year residents at the time we put together this presentation. And by we, I do mean Danica. By the time we put through this presentation together, we are at 9 in the community. That's a lot for a small community, and it's a wonderful thing, but it does require a lot of work. They don't just drop out of the sky. And the bulk of that work is done by our physicians who do the precepting, the teaching. Next slide, please. So what are we hoping to do in 2026? Those of us, the 3 of us that are working in this recruitment effort are taking a look at the Practice Ready Ontario application. This is to invite international medical graduates into the community and to see if we can get them to sign a return of service for 3 years. We've increased the number of recruitment events that we will be attending. We will be attending the Canadian Society of Physician Recruitment. That is an annual conference that Danica would attend, and essential for keeping on top of what is available in terms of programs, in addition to opportunities to recruit physicians. More advertising, social media, we talked about that. We'll continue with ensuring that learners have a fabulous experience while they're in town, so that they so that we can showcase to them, those of them that don't come from here, we can showcase to them what a wonderful community this would be. I mean, this is truly an amazing community. You have everything. You have a butcher and a bakery and grocery stores and banks and everything that you need. You have the wildlife, you have the waterfront homes, you have the gorgeous town, you have a Hallmark movie type downtown. And then on top of that, you're within half an hour of an airport that goes to anywhere. It is absolutely blessed. But what we have to do is share that with these medical students and ensure that they understand that this is the best of the best. So personal touch, checking in, trust relationships, and then working those contact lists like we were responsible for sales in a high-powered environment. Next slide, please. So where do we go when we choose recruitment fairs to go to? There are a gazillion, or what feels like a gazillion options out there. But what we do is we like to connect with students when they are already family medicine residents. Before they choose residency, medical students sometimes fall in love with every specialty that they try out along the way. And so until they've actually chosen family medicine and gotten into the program, that's the best time to get a hold of them. So we will do the Ontario programs where medical schools have family medicine residencies. In particular, if you look at McMaster University, that one is a rural stream that we go to where they have an event, a one-day event where learners get to meet with different communities. And we also the College of Family Physicians of Canada has a what they call FMF, the Family Medicine Forum. That is well attended by folks, and in particular, lots of folks that enjoy doing locuming go to that one. And then the other one that is going to be particularly fruitful, I think, over the next 2 years is the Fédération des Médecins Résidents du Québec, which is FMRQ, which is our friends in the province of Quebec who may or may not have extra incentive in the last little while to think about maybe coming to Ontario. So that's where we would focus. There are many, many, many to choose from, but I think having a very focused approach would be more fruitful for us. Next slide, please. Oh, it's so small. I'm assuming you have a version there that you can blow up. That gives you an idea of what we're spending our dollars on. I think that this is an effort at transparency and accountability. And if we're here asking for a little help, you need to know to the dollar. I was going to say to the penny, but I think we rounded up a bit. You need to know to the dollar where are these funds going? How are they being spent? And are we choosing wisely? So this is what we spent this year. So if you look at the first bit, we're talking about general expenses just to attend the fairs. Then we have some additional. I need to know a guy that maybe knows something about optometry because I can't see a thing here. Staffing and resources, that is some of Danica's time, not all her time, but some of her time, a little bit of my time, and also taking into account Guy and Maxine's time along the way. Some advertising, business. We need things. We need a pretty display. We need to keep it fresh. We need to make ourselves seen when we go to these job fairs because they are crowded and everybody has beautiful blue skies, wonderful waterfront settings, and it's easy to get lost in the crowd. And then what do we got here? Then there is the cost of belonging to the different groups. And then in the bottom, it's what do we do and how do we spend money to bring people here? We need signing bonuses and we need return of service agreements. That is the stark reality of what's going on across the province and what we are competing with. The average going rate is a return of service agreement of about $100,000 for a commitment of 4 to 5 years. And that is essentially an availability agreement. We're not paying them to work, we're paying them to choose our community and be available to work for those 5 years. And then they work it off. So for every year that they spend in the community, a part of the loan or grant is forgiven. Going rate, I'm sure you're going to Google a little bit of this after you leave, or if you haven't already. But that's pretty much what's going on. And then from time to time, if we are not in need of return of service agreement, we may be in need of sort of moving expenses, and that's where you get your $10,000 to $20,000 range, which I think Mr. Herschel came to see about earlier this month. And so that number was included. You can see the 120. Next slide, please. So very similarly, we talked about all the things that we'd like to do next year, and then you see the budget for next year. And I've broken it out again in terms of what are the activities and efforts that we'd like to do as a group, and then what would it cost to get some folks onto a commitment to our community that is got some real teeth. So, next slide, please. How can you help? Anybody that's interested in taking part in the work of the large recruitment and retention committee, that is a very open membership. The point of that membership is that they would meet twice a year and hear about the efforts that the small working group has done. The small working group will meet multiple times a year and ad hoc, as much as we need to plan and get together. I would say we've met at least 3 times this year so far, and not only working on our relationship as healthcare delivery folks or those responsible for that in our community, but to also work together to bring physicians to the community. Here's the thing, when we're out at recruitment fairs, and I will join Danica from time to time, our physicians will join Danica from time to time, or other folks from our group will join. But when we're there and we're recruiting, just because we're at the hospital doesn't mean we're recruiting for the hospital. We're recruiting for the community. It's as helpful to the hospital to have a full-time family medicine community-based practice physician as it is for us to find an emergency. Okay, maybe not quite immediately as helpful, but certainly long-term. And that's what we're thinking about. We're thinking long-term. If we fill our community with as many physicians as we need to ensure that every single citizen of West Nipissing is attached to a primary care provider, so a nurse practitioner or physician, then the work of the emergency department becomes true emergencies. And so it helps us, it helps the community, and it helps our family health team and community health center. So we say when we meet with prospective physicians, we say, look, there's 3 options for practicing at least in our community. You can go full-time family med, you can go full-time hospitalist, you can go full-time in emergency department, part-time combination of whatever you choose of those 3, plus other specialty things that you can do. So for example, we do endoscopies at West Nipissing, and so some of the physicians participate in that by providing anesthesia and by being a second to the specialist that comes in. So there's neat things for them to do that are interesting as well. But we have no interest in not supporting the community because it doesn't pay for anyone. So as you know, hospitals in Ontario right now are not doing so hot. Ourselves, we've been tasked by the provincial government to find up to $4 million in the next 2.5 years. And so we're watching every penny. And so we'd like a little help. We're not asking for a lot. We're trying to be very, very reasonable because we know if we're in trouble, municipalities are in trouble too. And we get that. And we also appreciate that it's a more direct path to the taxpayer when it comes from municipal funds than it is when it comes from the Ministry of Health funds. So we're very, very aware of that. In particular, I feel the pain of municipal councillors making these decisions everywhere. But I do honestly believe that it is something that should be very, very important to the municipality. Because it's a building block of economic development and attracting people to stay and live and pay taxes in our community. So, so we need a little help, and to that end, I will disclose that I was once deputy mayor of Elliott Lake, and so I got a little cheeky, and I thought maybe I'd put a proposed motion for you to consider sometime. Appreciate that it's not now and not today, but I know the budget deliberations are coming up, and so I thought maybe I'd slide a little something in there for your consideration. But essentially what we're saying is, hey, if you could spare 25 grand a year to help with the recruitment activities so that we can get to these job fairs and we can print out those banners and we can do that sort of thing. That's not all of the cost, as you saw earlier, but it would help tremendously. And we don't expect you to shoulder all of the costs. Some municipalities do, but I think we have agreed that we have a shared responsibility to do this. And so the thought around that is that 25 grand doesn't come for nothing. It comes with a requirement for accountability and transparency, and we would commit to, you'd either get it through the minutes of the committee, or I can commit to coming before council and providing you with a full update and where did the pennies go and what did it look like. And anything unspent, of course, goes back to the municipality. And then the next bit is talking about physician recruitment incentives. These are the return of service agreements. And we're hoping for about 100 grand a year. And any unspent funds, we'd have to do it on case-by-case basis. We'd have to apply, and then any unspent funds would, of course, go back to the municipality and be reallocated at your discretion. So that's what we're here to ask for today. Thanks for your time. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for your presentation, Dawn. Very thorough and a good overview of the situation that the hospital is in within our community and the challenges that it's facing. I'll open the floor to any questions or comments from those around the table or online. Councillor Feta.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, I'd like to thank you for your presentation and also for everything you've done and started doing for physician recruitment. I think it is something that maybe had fallen by the wayside a little bit, and you've revived it with a lot of energy. And I know we had a discussion a few months ago about it. So thank you for that. I have one thing in the last few days, of course, we've been reading a lot about what's going on in Quebec with Bill 2. And what I've been reading is that some municipalities in Northern Ontario are saying that they are having doctors knock on their doors right now. They are getting emails and phone calls with interest. Is it the case for us, and what are we doing in the immediate to maybe capitalize? If I can use that word, I don't want. If we can capitalize on the fact that there's a lot of interest, I think, from French-speaking doctors to come to French-speaking areas in Northern Ontario.
Through you, Mr. Chair, if I could answer. So what I would say is that that's happening to those folks that are right on the border. We're seeing it in Ottawa, Gatineau, Ottawa, and we're seeing it right around the border. It's not the case for us right now. That doesn't mean that we can't start advertising and making it well known that we're open to that. We did just go to FMRQ less than a few months ago, so that will be the time to reuse those mailing lists of all those folks that we collected names and get going. So we're certainly going to work that angle. I think that what has happened even more recently is that the province has softened a little bit on the Quebec side, some of their demands, and so we'll see how that all works out. We do have one locum right now that is a resident of Quebec and does, no, more than one. Two, yes. One is a resident of Montreal and one is resident up north. And so we are seeing some. So we do have channels by which we could say, hey, tell the others, tell your friends. I think what is not quite evident to everyone is that we are a Francophone community. And so I think going back to FMRQ after maybe not having been there or not having been there for a while is we're back on the map of prospective physicians. So the advertising with Health Force Ontario and which is the main place that physicians go to look for jobs, either permanent, full-time or locum, and is a place that we have increased our advertising with, and that's already bearing fruit. So we'll keep on it. We see the opportunity too, and we believe what you believe.
Thank you. And if I may ask you another question about the presentation budget. The amounts that you have in your 2025 and 2026 budgets for return and service agreements. So for 2025, is that what you've actually spent?
I can spend it. I have someone with whom I am about to sign an agreement.
Okay. All right.
So I'm hoping to be able to make that happen.
Okay. And for 2026, that's what you would expect
Yes.
at the moment to spend. So the 100,000 that you're asking for us to set aside, is that to contribute to those agreements?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And if cash flow is an issue, like for us, it's an issue. Cash flow is absolutely an issue. If we had to do this, we would have to borrow the money. And so if cash flow is an issue, though, what we could do is work on the return service agreement. They might not get it all at once. Maybe instead of working it off, they earn it off, so that there are options for us to work together to try and figure this out.
And generally, how long do you try to get a commitment for?
4 to 5 years. 5 is a stretch, 4 is the norm. But, given our cash situation, I would be negotiating for 5 years if I could.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for those questions and the response, Councillor Pellet.
Vous parlez français?
Ben oui.
Oui, OK. Je suis curieux, oui. On a-t-il des fois des demandes de overseas, comme de l'Europe, whatever? Puis, y a-t-il des places qu'une personne peut, je sais pas, comme advertiser, comment qu'on est français? Parce que moi, j'en reviens pas. J'ai travaillé sa construction. À chaque fois qu'on travaille avec des Québécois, parler français, ça. Ben oui, tu sais. So, on pousse-tu là-dessus?
C'est certainement, ça fait une grosse partie de comment on vise les médecins. Mais les médecins étrangers, il faut faire très attention parce que c'est pas toutes les universités, puis c'est pas tous les collèges et puis les écoles de médecine qui sont égales à celles de l'Ontario. Alors, comme vous l'avez peut-être entendu parler dans les nouvelles, c'est juste dernièrement qu'on essaie d'être égal en province. Alors, vous pouvez vous imaginer d'avoir une égalité du niveau et de la qualité d'éducation à l'étranger, c'est très difficile. Alors, en gros, ce sont les pays du Commonwealth. Alors, s'ils viennent d'Australie, de l'Angleterre, l'Irlande, c'est certain. Les États-Unis, c'est à peu près pareil et puis c'est accepté. Autre que ça, c'est très, très, très difficile. Alors, les médecins doivent aller chercher, ils doivent aller faire des examens pour démontrer qu'ils sont à la mesure de travailler ici. Ensuite, il y en a, la plupart ne le sont pas. Alors, quand vous entendez parler d'histoires de médecins qui sont en train de chauffer des taxis, c'est parce qu'ils ne sont pas qualifiés. En effet, on a un employé, nous autres, à l'hôpital qui est médecin au Bangladesh, mais pour devenir médecin au Canada, il faudrait qu'il recommence tout. Alors, parce que c'est simplement pas égal. L'autre chose qui est difficile, c'est que du travail de médecin en communauté, dans une communauté en Afrique ou une communauté en Inde ou bien une communauté dans l'Asie, c'est très différent d'une communauté ici. Alors, des fois, il manque pas, c'est certainement des gens très intelligents, c'est certainement des gens qui travaillent très fort et qui ont eu une bonne éducation, mais de faire le lien avec les communautés ici, c'est tout un aspect qui est aussi important que le côté biologie, chimie. Alors, on a de la misère avec les médecins. Alors, c'est pour ça qu'on a parlé du programme Practice Ready Ontario. J'oublie ce que c'est en français. C'est quand il va se souvenir de Practice Ready Ontario, c'est-tu? On ne sait pas. OK. En tout cas, alors, ce programme-là, ce sont des médecins qui sont formés à l'étranger, qui ont subi une examination d'à peu près 12 semaines avec un autre médecin dans le Nord ou dans un milieu rural. Ce médecin-là aurait dit, oui, oui, ils peuvent pratiquer. Et puis là, ils viennent à notre communauté, puis après ça, ils ont besoin de la supervision avec un médecin de famille, mais une fois par semaine ou bien une fois par 2 semaines. Alors, c'est beaucoup plus allégé, c'est plus comme avoir un résident qui est prêt. Alors, c'est pour ça qu'on va se pencher justement là-dessus. Et dans cette application-là, quand on finit l'application et puis que c'est présenté à tous les médecins qui viennent de l'étranger qui voudraient s'installer en Ontario, et un des critères qu'on va démontrer là, c'est qu'on est bilingue et puis qu'on peut accueillir quelqu'un qui est francophone.
OK, merci. Une autre chose, je regardais le budget qui avait quasiment doublé, mais je t'ai pas demandé ça, mais là, j'ai vu la réponse, c'est pour recruter. L'argent, c'est tout pour recruter. Y a-t-il d'autres? C'est quoi les autres incentives que les docteurs ne regardent pas, disons, pour venir ici? C'est-tu du logement? C'est-tu des perks qu'ils ont dans la ville?
C'est exactement ça. Alors, il y a des médecins, il y a des communautés qui ont une maison, que les médecins rentrants peuvent rester là 6 mois, 1 an, jusqu'à ce qu'ils aient leur propre maison. Et puis, souvent, les communautés vont dire, ben nous autres, on a un centre de fitness, alors on peut donner des passes. Ou bien le centre de golf va dire, ben, on va donner une passe. Puis c'est de travailler à récolter avec les membres du gros comité, de dire comment est-ce qu'on va faire un beau panier pour ceux qui viennent avec toutes sortes de petites choses dedans, qui les incitent à aller jouer dans la communauté, puis aller prendre avantage de tout ça. Donc oui, le logement, c'est une grosse chose. Surtout si on est dans un environnement où il n'y en a pas de logement. Ici, vous êtes bien grillé, là. Il y a des choix. Il y a des choix. Disons qu'on est dans le milieu du Nord, à quelque part, dans une petite communauté où il n'y a presque rien. Là, dans ce cas-là, c'est presque nécessaire d'avoir un logement. Mais ça fait la grosse partie. Il y a aussi les visites de communauté où est-ce qu'on les incite à venir nous visiter pour une fin de semaine. Et puis, là, à ce point-là, d'avoir un beau Airbnb sur l'eau, avoir des activités, un lunch ici, un beau souper là, ça l'aide énormément. Puis c'est là où on se pencherait sur le grand comité, des membres du grand comité qui seraient intéressés de nous aider, puis dire, hey, on a un médecin qui était intéressé à venir nous visiter pour la fin de semaine, qui serait disponible pour essayer de vraiment créer une expérience sans pareil.
OK, merci.
So Igor.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. I was thinking how I would say that. Just want to say thanks for the presentation, because I know last year at our budget deliberations, the subject came up, but there wasn't as much information. So this helps us probably make a more informed decision. I believe the ask was actually very similar to the proposed motions here. And it's just, there's a line when I spoke with Mr. Robichaud last year that stuck with me, was that it's not like a hospital problem, it's a community problem. So it makes me think you showed that those physicians are over 65 years old. I know my parents, myself, my two young kids, we're all with one of those physicians. So it makes, and we're one of the lucky ones who actually have a physician, right? So it is true. And I was trying to advocate for that last year, but I believe we still increased our limit last year by double or some amount, but there's definitely still work to be done. So I really want to thank you for your proposed motions, the in-depth information, and yeah, just in time for deliberation. So it's perfect. So I just wanted to thank
I got you.
you.
Councillor Larrabee.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. My question would be for the benefits for the doctors. The corridor between the hospital and the old chateau, there were some physicians. I think there's still some physicians in there. With supplying the doctors with an office like that would be. Would you think that'd be encouraging for them to move in the area?
Well, absolutely. Walking into an office that has, that's set up for physician to work right off the bat is ideal. But even more ideal would be if they're interested in family medicine, that they be co-located with the family health team or in the community health center. That would be the absolute most ideal. If I, for some reason, either of them run out of space entirely, then what a wonderful backup we have in the corridor with rooms that are actually set up to be like clinics. So ideally, we work together very closely to make sure that the family health team or the community health center host them, because those organizations are funded with allied health. They have social workers, they have nurse practitioners, they have diabetes educators, they have OTM, they have all of those things that are just rolling off the top of my head. I should know that more, but and practicing now isn't a solo enterprise. Some still do it that way, but most new physicians really appreciate a collaborative approach to care. So, but you're thinking the same way we are, and that is, if we can't find room for them within the family health team or the community health center, then what a lovely backup that we have some ready to go office, physician office type spaces.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Members of council? Seeing any, I'd like to say thank you very much, Dawn, for your presentation. And as Councilor Regard mentioned, a lot of good information, data there for us to consider when we move into our deliberations for budget in the coming weeks. So I definitely appreciate that, and appreciate all of the other health providers who are here to support you in your presentation today. Thank you very much, and I'm sure we'll have more discussions and we'll be in touch.
Thank you. If anybody has any questions, don't hesitate. Thanks.
Thank you. So moving on to our next agenda item is our committee of the whole section of the agenda. The first item that we have under there is the Public Works Committee, and I understand that Councilor St. Louis is going to chair that portion of the agenda in Councilor Gagne's absence.
Yes, thank you, Deputy Mayor. I was asked by Mr. Bundy to speak to this or bring up this matter. So item 5.1, Public Works petition for traffic lights at the intersection of Highway 17 and 575 in Verner. You got the information in front of you, and I was standing to speak to it.
So the petition was received requesting traffic lights at Highway 17 and Highway 575. I do know that is obviously under MTO jurisdiction, so ultimately this would be their call to make. I don't know the traffic counts at this intersection, whether they would deem it warranted or not. I do know that they chose to lower the speed limit from 90 to 80 through this intersection or through this stretch of highway, I believe in 2019 or maybe 2020. You can see here collisions at this intersection are, well, the last 2 years, they're fairly low. And we do see collisions such as, 4 in 2020 and 2021. If you were to actually compare those to some of our other signalized intersections, you would see that that's actually a really low collision number there. But if this is something that council wishes to move forward with, we can request that the MTO consider putting lights at this intersection.
Sorry, I'll open it up to members of council for any questions or comments, please. Conseil Pedrin.
That's been on my mind for a few years, and to me, it's a overdue situation. Just for a few examples, the members of the golf club, when they come up, there's a lineup. Like sometimes it's like playing Russian roulette coming out of there. So some are, in a rush, and then we got the municipality. It's got to cross that intersection every time. And the amount of time that they lose. People at Cash Lake, they're calling me. One of them is telling me they now, it's an older couple, they now go around field to Sturgeon. They won't cross that intersection. I guess they had a bad experience or whatever. We've got Monsieur Venn and Werner. This is the one that prompted me to act. Monsieur Venn is in his 90s and was told by UPP. He's got a little buggy. He got told by the UPP, you cannot cross that intersection anymore. It's the only restaurant in Werner, and he's got to cross that highway to get to the restaurant. So it breaks my heart to see somebody that's been in Werner for 95 years. And now he got told you can't cross it. It's a good thing because I'm sure it's for his safety. But and that the fact that the gas bar attendant, they see so many near miss. They really wanted to move that petition. So it's for that reason that I started the petition. It's we see a set of lights coming up from going to North Bay. Like it's the same traffic that's going to Werner, but it's even a lot more because Werner people have to cross that highway to go to the dump. All the transport going to the north are going through there. If they're coming from the west, the traffic's got to back up because the intersection is not wide enough. So it cuts in the other line, people back up. Then in the winter time, they can't see because of the snowbank. So I heard so many stories, and that's why I brought that petition forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Should have been looking at you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, I just want to, I know, of course, I know this intersection very well because I use it a lot. I fully support this because I know what it's like to stop at that intersection and look, especially the traffic coming from the west. They may have lowered the limit from 90 to 80, but they're still coming at 100. And I don't think we can compare to our other traffic lights. It's not comparable because our other traffic lights are in downtown Sturgeon and people are not driving 100 kilometers an hour. So, look at the number of accidents, but is one thing, but if you actually look at the potential for an accident, you've got the potential at that intersection for a deadly accident. You don't have a potential for a deadly accident as much in Sturgeon Falls. So it is a problem intersection, and before we do have a death at that intersection, let's put a let's convince the MTO to put a traffic light.
Thank you. Councillor Nichols?
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say I appreciate how much work Councillor Pellerin put into this. And as somebody who drives through it multiple times a day, every day, because I don't want my kids on the bus, I see firsthand how risky it can be. So I fully support this and I hope we can see it come to fruition. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Madam Mayor? You're on mute, Madam Mayor.
Sorry, I've got to get used to that. Just through you, Mr. Chair. In the 2019, when the speed limit was reduced, or 2020 when it was that done on a request from the municipality at that time to examine traffic lights, and the lights were refused? Do we know?
Yes, it was.
Okay. We also currently have a request in with MTO in regards to a traffic light at Levac Road and Cache Bay, correct? Or has that been answered by MTO at this point as well?
Don't believe we have a request. Do we have?
Yes,
for that?
yes. So we've
There's-
had on several occasions, and I believe it was denied.
Okay. I just wasn't sure whether that was still an active file on the Highway 17 corridor, because that had also been identified as a high traffic area. I would support the request going through to MTO. I'd like to see the updated traffic counts on that. I would support the municipality petitioning for that. We have some other traffic files in front of MTO right now. So, it would be great to at least get an answer to see where we stand on that one, along with the other active ones. But I fully support that. I think it is busy intersections between all of the different types of traffic that are there. Our public works yard, the golf course, La Cache, the town village of Verner. So I would fully support a request going to MTO to examine that. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Any other comments? Questions? So I'll put my 2 cents. The same situation happened in Cache Bay, obviously at Levac and the highway. And what they did do is the exact same thing that they did to Verner, as they lowered the speed limit from 80 coming out of Sturgeon all the way to, I don't know, maybe a kilometer past, what's that street? To 80 there. I can attest that there was a death at the back road in the past, and still no lights were put up. So I would 100% support this moving forward. And if we can even look at the Levac in 17, that would be fantastic.
I believe the Levac Road one, I think that the MTO is intending to do a turning lane when they do upgrades at that intersection.
They did do upgrades 2 years ago, and there was no turning lanes. They made the one area bigger to turn onto Levac north, but it's not even like it's not a lane. So it's just weird what they did. It's pretty, but that's about all it is. So I would assume we've got full support of council to send this to the MTO. That's the direction. Perfect. Any other questions? No? I'll pass it back to you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Oh, Madam Mayor. Oh, Madam Mayor.
Sorry, just through you, Mr. Chair, just for the sake of making sure it's right. Ms. Chapillon, would you prefer that as a resolution, or direction in committee is fine for staff to proceed with that?
I think a resolution would likely be appropriate, and then we can just that on the board, rely on that to move that forward, just to give more weight.
Okay, thank you. So a
Thank you, ma'am.
resolution, yeah, a resolution for the next meeting, that would be appropriate.
Yes.
Thank you.
Back to you. Yes, back to you. Thank you for that, Councillor St. Louis. Agenda item 5.2 we have next is Community Services Committee, and I will turn that to the chair, Councillor Reba.
Thank you, Mr. Restwell. The one item in community services regarding Clear Lake Beach signage request, which was deferred from our last meeting. And I'll pass that over to Councillor Nickel, who made the agenda request.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the summer, the Clear Lake Cottagers Association reached out to Mayor Rashawn and myself. They were inquiring about this project. The details can be negotiated, but they first wanted to see if there was a desire to pursue this project before moving forward. They proposed that they would design and assist with the building and installation at their own cost, but if there were any beautification funds available, they would appreciate a portion of this project being considered. It's basically like a large picture frame for taking selfies or group photos. I printed off Mr. Longfellow's drawing. I couldn't get it bigger, but I'll pass it around to you. So essentially it will be a wooden frame. The inside would be a cutout so people can stand inside that with the beach behind you, and then there'll be a QR code, and that will take you to the Clear Lake Cottagers Association's history page. And I sent that to most of you, I think, but if you have not seen it, I will pass it along. There's some pretty neat history there. And the sign would be a nice addition to the beach. It would showcase local history and remind visitors of the community's long-standing connection to the lake. And I'll pass the photo around for you of the rough drawing.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for that added information. So I'll open up the floor to any comments or questions. I will start with Madam Mayor. You're on mute.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. Just like to say that Councillor Nickel and I have attended the Clear Lake Cottagers Association AGM for the last 3 years in a row. They have a very active group that it takes on a whole bunch of projects, including lake water monitoring. They're one of the only groups that does regular lake water monitoring. And the history project is actually really interesting, and so much work has gone into collecting the history and the photos of that area by the members. I'd like to commend them. I'd just like to ask, and I don't know if anybody actually has the answer, is the Clear Lake Cottagers Association registered as a not-for-profit organization? Does anybody have the answer to that question?
I know. We just pay our dues. Well, my parents do. Cottage. So I don't know much.
Caitlin, do you know that? Or sorry, Councillor Nickel, do you know?
I don't know, but I can ask Mr. Longfellow.
Okay, just because if they are, they would be the discretionary grant application that's available online would be available to them as a not-for-profit. So if they were looking for specific financial support for this project and they are a registered not-for-profit, they could actually put in a discretionary grant request. And I believe that there is still budget left for 2025 in that. So it's just a kind of idea to kind of facilitate that kind of project and where that money could come from if they're looking for financial support. So that's what I would like to add. Thank you.
Councillor Snedler?
No, that's fine.
Oh, yeah, I'm done. Councillor Resto.
Through you, Mr. Chair, just a question. I'm looking at the information that we received and seems like it's a little choppy. It doesn't seem like we have all the info in here. But one of the items that's written here is that we have an opportunity to apply for a $25,000 grant. Is that for this request, or is that maybe something old on the form that's not because Madam Mayor mentioned the discretionary funds that we have and an opportunity there, but is there something external that there's an opportunity to apply for?
I don't see that. I don't see where you're looking.
Maybe it's a chart.
On the
I
agenda,
can't see people's names and I can't, just on the attachment that we had.
Yeah.
But it seems like the dates aren't right, but I don't know if it's in the right form.
Oh.
So if it's not, it's okay. I just wanted to ask if
That's
that was something that's available.
Apparently we received this different ones.
yeah, I don't.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, then I'll withdraw. But I support, looking at. See what we can do to support. Because I just wanted to mention, you see, when you travel around, you see these types of, pieces in different communities and I think it helps. It's neat for the kids and for tourism that comes through to have something like that. So, yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Councilor Install. Anybody else? Oh, well, I'll just add that, yeah, I did see that history and it was shared to all the members. It was pretty neat to see like how South Shore Road was just a little trail called Charlie's Trail and all that history now. And to grow up on that lake, it added that extra bit to the cottage and I just think this is a great idea. We never had anything like this, and I think it would just be a great little addition to our community, especially that beach, which is where pretty much everyone goes on the hot summer days. So I'm just not too sure about the fund request because there's no real idea as to how much they'd be requesting. I believe it's more or less just a go ahead that we be in support of them working on the project, coming to us with some funds. That's where I'm not too sure about the ask.
I think they wanted to start with getting in to see if there was interest from the municipality and council. And if we were to say yes, they would work with Mr. Poulin and staff to figure out logistics from there. So sounds right, Ms. Craddock?
So yeah, if I can, so certainly as far as the installation and location, things like that, that would be coordinated with Mr. Poulin and his staff. I just did a quiet look while we were talking. It does appear that they were at least at one point a registered NPO. So actually, if they do have a financial request, then the discretionary grant is a good thing. I'd like to see if they are still a registered NPO, but it looks like they were at one point, yes.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. So, Madam Mayor.
I'd just like to say to Ms. Craddock, I believe they are. I mean, they have an official AGM every year where they do present their financial statements to the members, and the AGM is conducted in such a way that it is proper procedurally. So I'm sure that can be confirmed. Sorry, I don't know why I lost that word. Confirmed with Mr. Longfellow, but I'm pretty sure just having attended their AGMs and seeing their information that that it's likely that it is still operating as not for profit. Thank you.
Awesome. So from what I understand, it looks like there's consensus that the group can start working with staff, or we should maybe have a resolution to direct staff to start working with them. But I feel okay with them just working together and then come back once there's some work in agreed. That's it. Oh, Councilor Ferrer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I can confirm that it is a nonprofit corporation incorporated in 1987.
Thank you. Over to me. I'll pass it back to Councilor Restival.
Thank you for that, Councilor Revard. Agenda item 5.3 is our water committee, and I will pass that over to Councilor Pellerin.
Thank you, Mr. Resto. I guess I'll pass it on to Ms. Henning.
Okay, so through you, sanitary and storm separation is something that is very important. It used to be something that was not commonplace. Storm sewers would just flow into sanitary sewers, but since 2006, the municipality has been actively working to separate storm and sanitary, and you'll see that every time we are doing a water sewer project. If it's not separated, we are working on separating. One issue that the municipality has is in a lot of these communities where ditches have been filled, people's sump pumps who would have formerly run into ditches are oftentimes running into our sanitary collection system. And that can lead to our lift stations being overwhelmed and cause problems at the sewage treatment plants. But I do have some good news about this is when I actually started to do some research, particularly looking at the Queen Street pumping station and the events per year trend of it being overwhelmed. So when I looked back to 2006, when this separation initiative started, we've actually been seeing a downward trend in those events since 2006. So, I mean, that's almost 20 years of data over a time period when we have seen more significant rainstorms and events that would potentially overwhelm our systems. So the work that we're doing is good and it is working. We do have, it's not legal to hook up your sump pump to the sanitary system. We do have bylaws that prevent this. Unfortunately, that is quite challenging to enforce. So at this time, I'm just recommending that we do some education, remind people that this is, it's not what we want to be doing. We do not want our stormwater in our sanitary system because it's costly to the taxpayer. It can overwhelm the system. It can cause backups into people's homes, and it's just not a situation we'd like to see. So, and we're going to continue that separation as we move forward with these projects. Anyone has any questions?
Before I go to questions, I'd like to answer this because I made the agenda request. I'm sorry, I should have went to see you before tonight. What I'm really more looking for is I know there's a bylaw in place, but I want to educate people what's under the street so people can understand. Guarantee you, 90% of the people don't understand the separation of the pipes in the ground. There's one pipe is for the toilet, sinks, washing machine. The other pipe is for eavesdrop and sump pump that goes directly to the lake. Like I said, 90% of the people I'm sure don't know about this. I know because I worked in that area. I worked in those projects that they did in the street. So that's why I want to start by, if we could get a diagram that shows the street and the pipes in the street, just a very simple diagram, so people can understand, okay, if I connect my sump pump to this pipe, it's going to the sewer plant. And if we get big rains, the sewer plant gets overload and we have to release sewage in the river. And not only at the sewage plant, at a few lift stations in town. So this has been going on for years and years. I know it's getting better with the separation, but that's going to be a future discussion because I plan on having this topic for a few meetings. So for the next meeting, I'd like, I'll go and see you and maybe we can work on having a very simple diagram that we can show people how this all works and why, and maybe put it on our page from the municipality, maybe put it in one of the quarterly bills. Start with this. That's what I'd like to start with. And the next meeting, I'm going to move on to something else in that same direction.
Okay. I did speak with our communications team about this, and I believe that they have some literature that has been prepared in the past for this, so we can certainly look into that and maybe refresh it and look into getting some new education material prepared for this.
Oh, Madam Mayor.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. I just want to, I just want to address maybe a procedural issue as we're discussing this topic. And I want to make sure that if we're directing staff to undertake an educational campaign or whatever around that, it really needs to be done as a council decision and not like, so just procedurally, it should be, is council in agreement that it would be a good thing to undertake an educational program for the municipality, so it's not just individual councillors directing staff. So I just want to put that out there procedurally. That's probably the way we should continue. So a show of hands or such and such would probably be appreciated.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, that's why right now I'm not gonna ask for a resolution because I want, first of all, to have a diagram to show our council and they have a better idea what I'm talking about. So that's why I want to bring it up at the next council meeting. I should have maybe go and visit with the staff before that to have the diagram tonight. But we would have it for the next meeting and keep the discussion going on. Councillor St. Louis. No?
No, that's fine. Well, through you, Mr. Chair, I think I was just gonna add, I think that if staff already has something in place, then yes, to bring it back to us, and then at that point, we can have that discussion and we can see what's there to educate the public, I guess, if that's what you're looking for.
Thank you. Councillor Farah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I agree with this, but I would really want to see it go out with the bills rather than just a press release, because the bills will reach 100% the people we want to reach.
Thank you, Councillor Farah. And the idea behind this is just to show people that so they understand, and people on their own, some of them will say, oh, okay, I'm going to disconnect my sump pump from that pipe. Or the new houses that wait for the final inspection before they do it. Oh, okay, that's what happens if I connect to this pipe. So that's my idea behind this. Yes, Councillor St. Louis.
So I'm not sure on the proper procedural value, but I'd like to make a motion to defer this to the next meeting. That makes sense?
Yep. Okay, so who's in favor? Oh,
Can I get some clarity? We're deferring this to the next meeting and you're providing a diagram?
yes, we could sit down and figure out a nice diagram that'd be simple to understand for people that don't have a clue of the system underneath the streets.
Sorry, let me rephrase that. I would like to defer this to the next meeting so that staff has an opportunity to provide us with additional information, which I believe you said communication already has some of the
I
stuff.
believe they may have some.
Yeah, they may, and if not, staff can provide us with better information.
Go see your Resto.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. I don't think we need a formal deferral. I think we can, because we're only discussing this right now. There's no resolution or there's no motion for this. So we'll just to have a continuation of the discussion, maybe a request to have it on the next meeting agenda with the additional information.
Okay, thank you. Just one question to Monsieur Pilon. Would I need to ask another agenda request, or is it automatically go to the next meeting?
I think we can do the work in the background and have some additional information just based on your original request, Mr. Counselor. So I think it would be reasonable just to, you know, in the interest of not muddying the waters here, pardon the pun, that we do have some existing communication, if you will, and then, you know, I'm sure that it wouldn't be too difficult to provide some sort of a diagram that that delineates exactly what you're trying to achieve, and then we can bring it to the group, have further discussion and move forward on that piece.
Okay,
I
thank
think
you.
that's reasonable.
Thank you. Right, back to Councillor Resto.
Not yet.
Oh, no. The Werner, Walter Felton. Back to you, Sandy.
Very well, council has decided that we want to move forward with the in home filters, so have a potential legal agreement that has been drawn up, and council has any questions or concerns of how we should proceed with this, happy for direction.
Any questions? Councillor Farrell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No, I looked at the agreement. I think it's good as it is. So I guess the next stage would be to select the 6 targets. And have we thought about how we were going to do that? We've discussed it previously.
Yeah, there is some challenge because we don't have any, you know, before data, but we have kind of some areas in mind. So I think we'd be selecting in those areas.
From people who've had problems, obvious problems before.
Yeah, yes.
Sorry, one more question, if I may. When do you think we could start
Start
the pilot program?
well, we would have to get a contractor on board who could, and I'm not sure if we'd want to get additional legal advice on our liability, in terms of this. I will let, Mr. Pillen speak to that if you've got concerns.
We're also gonna have to look at, we'll have to bring the costs back. Correct. I don't think we have any idea what our liability is on this, so perhaps we can do some groundwork on identifying how that process occurs, identifying somebody that's reasonable or appropriate to undertake the work. Whether that's a competitive process or whatever the case may be. And so from a timeline perspective, I don't know, I'll rely on you.
I mean, it could.
How long would that process take place?
Contractor. So I imagine that would be a fairly straightforward and quick process. We are taking a risk with liability because we will be, you know, installing something in people's homes. So that's, if that's the risk that council is comfortable with, then that's the direction.
So I understand that municipalities taking a risk of installing, so I would be way more comfortable knowing what the liability will be, right? I don't know if there's a way to find that out. Like how are we gonna be protecting the municipality? Or is the municipality gonna be protected, like legally? So I think I would like more legal information before I would agree myself to this. I think it's a great idea, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I want to make sure that the municipality is covered with the work that's gonna get done. And if we don't have that, like I read through it and I see everything that's there, but I think we need a legal advice on absolutely, you're covered. If they sign, then that's not an issue, that's not a problem. If we're not covered, I'm sorry, but I don't think it's the best thing to do. I think the process, the idea is great,
but I think we need the legal advice to say, yes, go ahead. Yes, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. The legal agreement that's been presented to us in our package under section 7, there is a section on liability. Has the legal agreement being presented to us this evening been sent to any of the municipalities' legal advisors in regards to structuring this document? So has it undergone any vetting from our legal experts yet?
No, at this time it has not.
Okay, so are you looking at this point to get a kind of agreement in principle from council that the way that the program is being proposed through this agreement meets their expectations, and at that point it will be sent to our legal advisors to come back with some kind of opinion if there's any issues?
Yeah, I think that would be the best way to proceed at this point. If this is what council wishes to move forward with, then we would move forward with getting the legal advice on this, and at that point, we can.
Okay,
Yes,
so
move
so
forward.
that's the direction you're looking for from council on this piece today.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, I agree. Any other questions? Okay, I guess we'll hear from this maybe next meeting, next month.
So legal advice can take some time to get, so we will try for next month and hopefully we can move forward with that.
Great, thank you. Oh, Madam Mayor?
Okay, well, in the meantime, can we get a better idea on costs so that it can be presented as part of our budget deliberations? Because if this is something we're gonna undertake, I mean, I know it's not super expensive, but we would likely want to consider that as part of our water and wastewater budget, yes?
Right, we did have a cost estimate initially prepared when we looked at this, and we were looking at it costing likely around $1,000 per home.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, and I can confirm that this was from a contractor in Verner who has installed one in his fourplex. And he's a contractor in that domain, so not all houses are the same, if there's a finish basement and all this, but all houses have a pipe in view because you need the shut off, so anyway, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and if I may, I think it'd be important as well. We can come back with some suggestions with regards to how we would be sort of earmarking these half dozen homes or so. And so just a suggestion and options for you to consider. That'd be reasonable.
Yes, and on that topic, I'd like maybe to pitch in, because I know I've been through so many houses and I don't know how many times to the same places, so I know most of the houses are more affected. It might not be the best thing for me to do, because then one's gonna say, well, why not me? I know, but I'm gonna take that chance and
We can come back to some suggestions for you to consider as a group and make a group decision on those pieces. And that would probably be the most appropriate based on service requests, based on our engineering and the data that we do have.
Any other questions? Okay, back to you, Mr. Vestal.
Thank you, Counselor. Next agenda item 5.4 is the Environmental Services Committee. Turn that over to Counselor Nickel.
There's an agenda request from Councillor Pellerin. Is there anything you'd like addressed specifically that Ms. Henning didn't mention in her memo? Because she provided a detailed memo as well.
the complaints that I've been getting has got nothing to do about after hours or dumping at the gate. It's got to do dumping while the disposal dump is open. So my question is, what's the landfill attendant's job description? Like, how does he? You know what I mean? What does he do? If I come in,
So through you, so as I stated in my memo during operations, the landfills have, well, aside from Sturgeon Falls, the small landfills have one attendant. That attendant is responsible for taking down, at the very least, license plates, names and addresses of residents who are attending the landfill. They collect money if something is being dumped, and that wouldn't typically be free at the landfill. And they do their best to monitor what is being dumped, but of course they are only one person, so it can be a challenge for them to maintain that. And I mean, as I stated in my memo, we have 7 sites, which is quite unusual for a municipality. So it's certainly a challenge to monitor that, but our landfill attendants do take records. We do have those records of attendance at the landfills.
I don't know how. I don't want to go too far. Miss Craddock. Oh, sorry.
If I may, I do just want to, I can feel Councillor Pellerin's concerns, but I do want to just remind, if there's a specific concern about whether someone is doing their job or not, this is not the place for that concern. And certainly you can take those concerns to Mr. Pilon outside of the meeting. This would be a discussion on the process that exists, and you know, are there better processes that we can do to maintain who has access to the landfills? We've had some discussion from some of our staff about, you know, ticket systems that are similar to bag systems and passes and things like that. So the process is what we should be discussing here. And if you've got individual concerns, that they're for afterwards, yeah.
I agree, and I thank you. And just to say, like, before amalgamation, burner, what we had, you'd come in, the attendant was Andre, the newfie. So it was from Newfoundland. Great guy. You'd come in, ask you your name, if he didn't know you, and he had the voters list. You're not on the list. Okay, you see you're from here, take the license plate number. If you're not from here, you're gonna get a fine. And it worked very good. At that time, I used to have the contract for the municipal dump with my dozer and put the garbage. So he was doing a really, really good job compared to, no, I stopped.
Madam Mayor? Okay, she did have her hand up, sorry. Councillor Corinne.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, so I'll ask this question then. Is it standard procedure for the attendant to request proof of residency for everyone who enters the landfill if they don't know? I mean, I went to the landfill on Sunday, but I know the attendant knows that I own property, so he didn't ask me. Of course, he didn't have to. He knows me, but I'm sure 90% of the people who drive in there, he doesn't know them. So does the attendant, do we know for sure that the attendant does it systematically?
We actually have done some spot checks on that. Send someone who was unfamiliar with the landfill to the landfill to test that.
Mystery shopper.
Exactly. And yes, they do check when they don't know. Every time we have not found a landfill attendant not actually checking when they don't know someone, so. because that was a concern.
Councillor Peller?
Can I ask when that was done and how many times? Roughly.
It's been done in the last year. How many times I would have to go look at my notes to see how many times we've done that.
Okay, thank you.
We'll have a further discussion.
Is there any other questions or comments? Oh, Councillor Larrabee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. When I was participating in the landfill here in River Valley, that was done on quite a few occasions, and we made sure that the person was had the right to come here because the dump all dumps have a lifespan, and if we let someone from another place go in, we're shortening our lifespan for our dump. So it's very, very important that we keep a close eye on this to make sure that those dumps could last for a number of years. I know this one here, we had about 15 or 20 years left on this block that we're on. So, but we did keep a very, very close eye on that. But I do hear comments from the general public that there are some that are going, if they can't go to Sturgeon, they'll go to the next one or whatever. So yeah, we just need to keep an eye on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, did you still have a question?
Yes, I did. Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. The employees that work at the dumps outside of the Sturgeon Falls landfill site, are they employees of the municipality or are they employees of West Nipissing Environmental Services?
They are all employees of the municipality except Field, I believe, which is WNES.
And Sturgeon Ops.
And
And
Sturgeon,
Sturgeon,
and
yes.
Sturgeon Falls is WNES?
Yeah, and Sturgeon Falls is WNES.
Okay. Is there a reason why Field hasn't been? Is there a plan to unify the workforce where either everybody? I'm trying to put this into words. So right now, Field is the anomaly outside of our main landfill site at Sturgeon Falls. Is there a plan to have Field done as a municipal employee like the rest, or is there a plan to have the rest fall under West Nipissing Environmental Services? I'm just trying to understand how those policies are set, because while we can set policies for landfills that are controlled by our own employees, the policies, I would think that the policies at landfills that are managed by WNES and by WNES employees would fall under that board. So I'm just trying to make sure that the discussions that we're having are proper procedurally and we're in the right jurisdiction.
Well, I'll answer some of that. So there's not a plan at this time on bringing Field into municipal. It is an anomaly compared to all of our outside. That is a council discussion though. So WNS is a contractor to the municipality, and if the municipality has done some analysis and decided that you know, we don't need our contractor to deal with the Field landfill site, that is a choice of the municipality. As far as the standard at the landfill sites, and we have had a bit of some differences with the Sturgeon site, but it actually is they are the municipality's landfill sites. So the municipality would set the parameters and all the rest, and then again, our contractor delivers the service that the municipality would like to see. So again, the controls as far as access, if it's, you know, restricted to this group of residents, then we expect our contractor to also be, you know, upholding the same standard.
Madam Mayor?
Thank you. Do we keep current visitation statistics or some kind of log on each of our landfill sites so that we know how many either unique visitors are coming on a weekly basis or any kind of data or statistics on the usage of the individual landfill sites or logs that include addresses or license plate numbers or any kind of identifiable information?
Yes, as the gate attendants are logging, we do have that information.
Okay, and is that done by paper or is that done electronically?
We don't have electricity at most of our landfills, so it is done by paper.
Thank you.
Are there any other additional questions or comments on that? That satisfies your concerns? And if you have additional ones, you can go to Mr. Truon or Annex separately.
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. Back to you, Mr.
Thank you. Before we move into our regular meeting agenda, I see that it is 8 o'clock, so I say. For this meeting, right? We have a mover and seconder. Councilor Rebar, Councilor Singles.
It is moved by Councilor Rivard and seconded by Councilor St. Louis. At approximately 8:02 PM, a motion was tabled for a 10-minute recess.
All those in favor? It's carried. We'll see you in 10 minutes. Okay, welcome back to the agenda for this evening. We will continue on with our regular meeting agenda, and we start with item 6.1, our consent agenda.
It is moved by Councillor St. Louis and seconded by Councillor Ferrin. Be it resolved that the consent agenda for the council and committee of the whole meeting held on November the 18th, 2025 be approved as presented.
See, Madam Mayor has her hand up. We'll go to her.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to request that item 6.1.1 be removed from the consent agenda and be dealt with separately, please.
So we want to deal with the committee consent agenda as amended and then move on to the other one.
Okay. So we have.
Yes, so I'll just reread that it be it resolved that the consent agenda for the council and committee of the whole meeting of November the 18th, 2025 be approved as amended.
Comments or questions on the amendment request? All those in favor? It's carried.
Back to 6.
And we will now return back to item 6.1.1, the minutes of the special meeting held on November 10th, 2025. I'll turn it to Madam Mayor for comments.
Well, Madam Clerk should just read the resolution and then I'll propose an amendment to the minutes.
I
and
need
then-
for a second.
Okay, mover and seconder for Councillor St. Louis, Councillor Nicol.
It is moved by Councillor St. Louis and seconded by Councillor Nicol. Resolved that the minutes of the council special meeting held on November the 10th, 2025 be adopted as presented.
Now we'll go to Madam Mayor. Go ahead.
Thank- Like to make a motion to amend the minutes just to reflect that Councillor St. Louis was not in attendance at that meeting. Well, first it says members absent instead of, anyway,
Fix the roll call.
fix the roll call, please. It says members absent. It should say members present. And Councillor St. Louis was not present at that meeting. Thank you.
Resolution on the floor. It resolved that the minutes of the council special meeting be adopted as amended.
Questions, comments? All those in favor for the amendment? It's carried. Okay, agenda item 6.2 under planning. We have 2 items there.
It is moved by Councillor St. Louis and seconded by Councillor Ferrin. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-90 being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw 2014-45 to rezone certain lands located at 382 Subway Road from residential 1 to residential 1 exception zone 5 shall come into force and take effect on the day it is passed.
Questions or comments? Seeing any, all those in favor? It's carried.
It is moved by Councillor Ferrin and seconded by Councillor St. Louis. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-91 being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw 2014-45 to rezone certain lands located at 192 Morley's Drive from rural RU6 to shoreline residential shall come into force and take effect on the day it is passed.
Questions or comments? Seeing any, all those in favor? It's carried. Move on to new business, item 6.3, and we have 4 items there. The first 6.3.1.
It's moved by Councillor Rivard and seconded by Councillor Nicol. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-92 being a bylaw to appoint a chief administrative officer for the municipality of West Nipissing be adopted.
Questions or comments? It's an important vote. All those in favor? It's carried.
It is moved by Councillor Nicol and seconded by Councillor Rivard. Whereas the Association Française de Municipalités de l'Ontario supports francophone municipalities across Ontario, and whereas West Nipissing benefits from the continued representation within AFMO, Be it resolved that West Nipissing Municipality hereby endorses Mayor Kathleen Rochon's candidacy to the AFMO Board of Directors and authorizes her participation in accordance with AFMO's procedures.
Questions or comments? All those in favor? It's carried.
It is moved by Councillor Rivard and seconded by Councillor Nichol. At its meeting of November the 4th, 2025, Council for the Municipality of West Nipissing discussed a request to purchase municipally owned lands described as Block 19, Plan M533, located on Champagne Road in the municipality of West Nipissing. And whereas Council determined that the said lands are not required for municipal purposes, be it therefore resolved that the lands described as Block 19, Plan 36M533 on Champagne Road be and hereby declared surplus to the needs of the municipality, and be it further resolved that staff are authorized to obtain an opinion of value for the property and report back with recommended next steps.
Any questions or comments? Seeing any, all those in favor? It's carried.
It is moved by Councillor Nichol and seconded by Councillor Rivard. Be it resolved that the third quarter financial reports for solid waste for the municipality of West Nipissing be received.
Questions or comments? All those in favor? It's carried. And to the addendum, we have two items in the addendum.
It is moved by Councillor Rivard and seconded by Councillor Nichol. Be it resolved that Council adopt bylaw number 2025-93, being a bylaw to authorize the signing of checks, promissory notes, and other documents.
Any questions or comments? Any, all those in favor? It's carried.
It is moved by Councillor Nichol and seconded by Councillor Rivard. It resolved that Council adopt bylaw 2025-94, being a bylaw to authorize the signing of contracts, documents, and instruments requiring the municipal seal.
Questions or comments? Councilor Pellerin?
Question, can you elaborate on this?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we are just changing the bylaws so that Mr. Pilon can sign things.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
Custom already.
Another important one to that. All those in favor? It's carried. And 9.1, we have our mayor's report. I'll turn the floor over to Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. I don't have a lot to say. As you all know, I'm in Halifax this week. I do have my big premiere tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. We have the panel discussion. It's a 90-minute session where I'll be speaking alongside a distinguished panel of guests in regards to addressing substance use crisis in small communities, which is the work, as you know, I've been involved with for the last 14 months through the Canadian Centre on Substance Use and Addiction. So I'm a little excited and nervous about that, but it's been a very good and interesting week here. Other than that, just to put out for the public that we are accepting float applications for our Santa Claus parade, which is coming up quick. There is information on our website as well about our senior supper and when tickets will be available for that. So we're looking forward to rolling into December, and you know, I miss you all, and I look forward to seeing you at the beginning of December. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Madam Mayor. We know you'll do an excellent job representing the community tomorrow on the panel.
Thank you. It is moved by Councillor Rivard and seconded by Councillor Nichol. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-95, being a bylaw of the West Nipissing Municipality to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting of the Council and Committee of the Whole on November the 18th, 2025, shall come into force and take effect on the date it is passed.
All those in favor? Carried.
It is moved by Councillor Nichol and seconded by Councillor Rivard. Be it resolved that the Council and Committee of the Whole meetings held on November the 18th be adjourned.
All those in favor? It's carried. Thanks everyone for your time tonight. Thanks for staff, and welcome to our new CEO for his first official meeting.
Thank you, Mr.